Hello, everybody. Robert Villar here. I'm with RTH Worldwide. We run Your Accountants USA and TusContadoresUSA.com. Hope all is well. We are here at the beginning of tax season for 2023, the year that just ended. And I wanted to give a very quick introduction to how we can link our bank account information within our QuickBooks Online file. And this is a very, very useful tool. It'll help your tax preparer or yourself get your books in order prior to going to it. So what I want to do is do a quick screen share so that I can go ahead and show you all what it looks like in a QuickBooks sample company file. And so I've opened up my sample company file. Intuit is the company that puts out QuickBooks, and we're primarily looking at QuickBooks Online. So basically, when I open up the program, in this case, it wants to take me on a tour because it thinks I'm a new customer. This is a sample company file. Your company file may look different depending on your tweaks and your modifications. On the left-hand side, we have a black bar. In this case, it's a black bar. It is called a navigation bar. And so there are different areas on there. Essentially, what we want to focus on today, and there's a bookmark for it here called bank transactions. You can get to it from a couple of different areas. If you don't have that bookmark for bank transactions, you can also get to it here under transactions. If you just hover over, there's a little side menu that pops up and you can click on bank transactions. Once you're in bank transactions, QuickBooks is going to want to take you into the process of connecting your bank account. And QuickBooks will have a little video for you to watch as well, or a self-guided step-by-step tour on how to go ahead and do that. So rather than letting you go through that, I'm going to do this for you together so we can kind of see what this looks like. Once you have your bank account connected, this is what it will look like. So what you have here is a checking account that has 25 transactions that are not yet received in QuickBooks. And so we have a couple things. It's telling us what our checking account balance is. It is currently showing as a negative. In QuickBooks, this is the dollar amount in the white area. This is the dollar amount that QuickBooks thinks your company file currently has. And the 25 are 25 transactions that appear down here that are for your review. Now, QuickBooks is pretty intelligent, has a little bit of artificial intelligence. It's going to try to classify some of your information automatically for you. So as we go through these 25 transactions after you've linked your bank account, here QuickBooks has identified some in green for us that it said, okay, based on the information that came in from the bank, here I have two possible matches for what this transaction could be. So this one here on the 23rd. But also there are direct one-on-one matches. So in this case, it found a match to a deposit. It found a match to a check. And you can essentially put your little check marks on the transactions that you would like to accept because there has been a match. And then QuickBooks will automatically bring those transactions into your file without you having to do anything. Okay. And that's the beauty of it, is once you have the artificial intelligence, it goes training and it goes getting better on here. So I'm going to go ahead and accept those transactions so that what we end up having is now a smaller group of transactions that we have to review. Now, there are search fields here. We can search for a particular number, particular transaction. We can do the drop down to sort by date or particular type of transaction. I wanted to highlight here, there's a lot of uncategorized transactions. Those are transactions that QuickBooks cannot tell how to treat them. And frankly, if you are using your own books and you don't know how to keep them also, uncategorized income or uncategorized expense is a perfect place to put it. It really makes it a central location for your tax preparer or your accountant or bookkeeper who does your year-end reconciliation to go through and reclassify these things. It's a nice, easy place to put it. It's a lot easier when we as an accountant have a one central location to find your information rather than having to search through because you might have misclassified something. So that's little trip. And then when we see here, we see that there's two $75 transactions. If I click on one of them, it basically says, hey, there's two $75 transactions. I can either accept it to Pam or I can accept it to Books by Bessie. So one, I'm going to, well, obviously the name is for Pam. That matches Pam. I know it's for Pam because the bank is telling me that the vendor information had the name of Pam on there. So I'm going to go ahead and match that. After it's matched that, I now come and now the computer has said, okay, well, that other one, it can only be to Books by Bessie. So now I can just go ahead and match that one. Okay. That's how the bank transaction classification works after they're at. Basically, at this point, I still have 6 pending transactions. That's what you do after you've reconciled your bank account. If you want to go back and see those transactions that have been categorized, you can click on this categorized tab and it'll basically bring a history of all of those transactions, essentially what your check register used to be. So main purpose of this video, and we'll get to it now, is how you go ahead and link your bank account. So we're going to go ahead and link our bank account. QuickBooks has this button here that's called Link Your Account. And there's a little drop-down menu because there are some banks that do not integrate with QuickBooks. So in those cases, you actually have to download a file that you could then import into QuickBooks. The transaction I want to talk about today is how you actually manage the connection and link the connection in QuickBooks. So we're going to go ahead and manage connections. Now, this is a sample company file, so it's not going to let me do that because I'm in a sample company file. Let me see if I can try doing link. So once you go into the link, it's going to pop up a picture to allow you to connect your bank account. First thing you have to do is type in the name of the bank account that you know you want to connect. And so obviously some companies that are we'll call them higher ranked have appeared with their logos here, but not all banks are going to do that. I'm going to type one in that I know is in QuickBooks, but is not currently identified there. And there it is. So City National Bank, that's a bank that I know has QuickBooks interaction, but not. But you see, I can start typing by part of the company or the bank name, and it will populate this list for me. Once you've identified it, you can go ahead and click it, and it will now take you to the point of connecting your bank account, right? I'm in a sample company file, so it's not going to let me do that. Well, what I am going to do is I'm going to show you what those screenshots look like because, well, I knew that that was going to happen. So couple things. We started by getting you in that transaction, that bank transaction button. That got us to the connect your account where you did the search to the bank account. In this example, I went ahead and I put in a Citibank account. Once you've identified it, you need to essentially select continue so that you can go ahead and log into the bank. And you would basically be asked for your credentials. You would put in your credentials and log into the account. Okay, now they're going to give you a warning. They're telling you that QuickBooks Intuit wants to access your Citibank account or your bank account information. And then once you've done that, it's going to open you up into a window specifically into your bank, and it's going to identify all of the accounts that are currently available for you to be able to link or synchronize with your QuickBooks file. And so in some cases it's bank accounts, in some cases it's credit cards, but in the case of Citibank, you would essentially come in and highlight or put a little check mark by each one of the accounts that you wanted to do. Now, at the bottom of that, there is a button that says, please note, Intuit will also like to access information from eligible future accounts under your ID. And so if you have additional accounts that get added on, if you do select that option, those should automatically populate into your QuickBooks file. After you've done that, it has a little disclaimer about what information will transfer. It tells you what information transfers, what doesn't. We'll give you a couple little disclaimers and warnings. And then the last thing that you would do is click on the Authorize Access button. Once you've clicked on that Authorize Access button, that will take you right back to where we left off, which was in that QuickBooks company file. And essentially, you now have connected your QuickBooks bank account and you can transact in it. So I hope that was useful information. Again, Robert Villar with YourAccountantsusa.com, TusContadoresUSA.com. We're here to help. If you have any questions, please feel free to visit us on the website. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you very much.